Years ago, when the Chamber was first started, there were less outside events for gays and lesbians to go to, and most of the socialization was in the bars.
Paul Ludeman, actually, and Jimmy Terwilliger. Paul and Jim were part of the initial group that started it. As I recall, it was 5 folks who were sitting around and figuring they needed another way to network.
There were some friends of ours, we got started just kind of talking. We would meet socially for happy hour, meet out at the bars, and we had kind of gotten together and said, wouldn't it be nice if we could socialize in that manner, and professionally what we do for a living.
Back when Penn started, we were in the middle of the AIDS crisis. There were a lot of young men in our community that were dying of AIDS. So the idea of being able to form and get together in an association and kind of camaraderie outside of a bar, just to talk, just to meet, was really important.
A lot of it was word of mouth, you know, just our friends as we'd be out and say would be interested in coming to a meeting.
Back in 1994, I had heard about this sort of underground group called Penn, that it sounded like it was a private club that you had to be invited to join.
When I began my business, I had a good friend who I knew from Dignity. His name was Jason Hendricks, and he was one of the original members of Penn. And he thought that since I was starting a business, I should join.
When I first found the Chamber, I was astonished. I truly was. I had no idea that there was such a resource available.
I somehow got information on it and came to one of their early events. A lot of people showed up, and I thought that was pretty interesting.
And the socials were the big thing, as well as the newsletter, a way of connecting the community.
Once we start getting the newsletter going, that kind of helped a little bit also. It's kind of hard to come up with some of the subject matter of what to put in there.
From that, I guess Penn grew.
I was taken under the wings of a larger-than-life guy named Paul Ludeman. Paul got me involved with the Business Development Committee and suggested that I try to figure a way of getting people involved with an educational purpose, a social purpose, and a business purpose.
One of the things that I did with a gentleman by the name of Jamie Zachenko was form an association part of the organization.
And I decided to start a breakfast program. We had guest speakers like Don Michaels of The Blade, Susan Hester, who is the founder of the Mortner Project.
And what we did is bring association professionals together and tried to look at how they were doing in business, how they were doing with jobs. We helped people to get jobs.
Back then, most people were not out. In fact, 3 years into when I was involved, we decided that it was okay to put gay and lesbian as part of what Penn was. And we lost a large number of our membership. They were not out, and they felt that they had positions which were at risk.
We had to come out to find each other. And in so doing, we built institutions like a newspaper called the Washington Blade, a health clinic called Whitman Walker.
I think along 14th Street you see a lot of small businesses open up. Many of them are owned and operated by gay and lesbian people, and I think that just makes a big difference in really helping the community grow. We just don't want to be out there and have our parade in June. I mean, we want to make a difference and make the neighborhood, you know, really vibrant.
Getting involved is not just an instant in time. It's not going ahead and attending one event. It's really creating a network of people that you can go ahead and contact and tap into when either you've changed jobs or you're looking for business development opportunities.
One of the reasons I started coming to the Chamber was because I wanted to expand my professional network. Up until I found the Chamber, I hadn't really found a good place to do that. I couldn't do it in the bars, I couldn't do it in the clubs. I have lots of great friends and I've sort of networked through them, but it wasn't the same type of organized networking.
I've been able to meet individuals, get introductions to organizations, companies that have really helped me to grow my business.
What's nice about the Chamber is you kind of have a familiarity with people, even if you haven't met them before when you first go in. It is a traditional business networking group, and people are there primarily to meet people and to get business, and you know that going into it.
We can talk to the owner of a multi-million-dollar company or the busboy at a restaurant.
If you get involved, get a chance to rub elbows with other business people, get to know them well, develop relationship, and it's through that relationship that business really happens.
There's such a diversity of businesses represented. I feel reasonably confident that whatever my needs are, that I can find someone in the chamber who is my solution provider.
Recently I was at the speed networking event, and that was great.
TBAC is kind of like having your own personal board of directors. It's a great way to reflect some ideas or ask for input. It's also a good vehicle for accountability.
One of the things that we established a couple of years ago was the mega networking event. And what we did was reach out to all the various organizations and bring them together. And actually the confluence of the timing, just as the economy was tanking, and people really realized that they had to go out and meet as many people as possible. In no other community is the sense of camaraderie and the sense of networking stronger. If you call somebody up who works for a corporation or owns a business and you say, hey, listen, I'm starting a business or I'm looking for a new job, would you mind sitting down with me for a cup of coffee to talk about X, Y, or Z? In my experience over the last 6 years, not one person has denied me the opportunity.
I mean, it's kind of a funny thing to say that, you know, every now and then the little vampire of the network gets me and gives me the opportunity to give a little of that blood back, because it's the blood of the chamber that has helped me survive.
I think one of the messages, the key messages that the chamber has is doing business with one another and supporting one another and supporting family, meaning other, gay and lesbian organizations and businesses.
Our chamber being positioned here in our nation's capital, we're able to get involved in a national discourse in a way that many of the other chambers are really not. So the reality of the situation is that it puts us at a greater sense of responsibility, but also in a leadership role that should not be taken lightly.
The Washington Economic Partnership has a very big push right now. Their forecasts are saying that the city of Washington, D.C. will be one of the largest places for growth of creative jobs.
When thinking about the future, the next step is having our executive director really work within the community to determine and mete out opportunities for our community.
Who are those people coming into the city for those jobs? Who are those people graduating from college looking for those jobs? How are they connecting to those jobs?
In the beginning, we didn't know kind of where to grow. It was to get the people together and then to see what would happen.
It has been nothing but goodwill, and I've made so many friends.
I think you get what you give.
I kind of look at these members as people I can go to for advice on my career, on my business, and just friendship.
Many people ask me, where am I going to retire? Right here. No reason to live anyplace else.